Good news.
Yeah.
Just come off the phone.
Full box.
The bands are up for it.
Yeah.
The venues are in.
Yeah.
We're okay for Series 2 NARC TV.
Yeah, brilliant. Clear, but these phone boxes are locked.
Don't worry about that.
There's
It's
no
okay.
phones.
It's fine. Coming up on episode 1, we have an amazing performance from avant-folk artist Richard Dawson at Middlesbrough Town Hall. Enjoy.
Yeah, I don't mean to be blinky, but they're locked and there's no phones in them, Claire.
It's okay, don't worry. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're all
no,
good.
I'm not saying you're a liar, but there's nothing, no phones in them.
Bellowing instructions from the touchline, that's my dad. Purple in the face, getting really mad. Man on, an empty stadium yells. Man on, come on, come on. The cross goes sailing wildly over the heads of everyone. Stop fannying around, keep it nice and simple. You're not Lionel Messi, just pass the bloody ball. Man on, an empty stadium yells. Man on, come on, the cross goes sailing wildly over the heads of everyone. Perhaps we were expecting this to be a walk in the park, but these bastards from King's Priory are kicking lumps out of us. Man on, an empty stadium yells. Man on, come on, the cross goes sailing wildly over the heads. The left back slips, taking a free kick. It trickles tries his best to not show how he really feels in the car home. He says, dust yourself down, move on to next week's game. Shall we pick up a Chinese or would you rather fish and chips?
Where have you found some of the characters that you write about? Are they personal to you? Do you write about people you know?
There's elements from friends and family and myself, and then a lot from like stories I might have read in paper or seen on the news. But those are more for like details. I think like the kernels of the songs probably feel like they generally don't come from those things. Like generally with I work on a lyric for a whole album rather than a song at a time, and so I generally kind of get the setting first, and then you start to like zoom into the setting and to find the people there. So I have this sense it might just be a way of describing something that's happening in my brain, but it feels very real, like some of these people really exist to me, and it feels more like you just have to meet them and let them explain their story, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, then it does mingle with, like I say, friends and family.
I suppose a little bit like writing a book. A lot of authors say that the characters talk for themselves. They speak, and you're just narrating that story.
It's whether or not they exist somewhere else or in some other realm or version of this world, and they're somehow telling the story, or it's just a creation of my brain or something else entirely. Then it doesn't matter, because hopefully someone will find some commonality with because even the details might be different, but generally we all are going through the same things, broadly speaking.
Obviously, we're at the moment in the cells of Middlesbrough Town Hall, and I'm sure there's been a few nefarious characters that have passed this way over the years. Are these sorts of places and buildings and places sort of things that can inspire you to write a story about stray dogs in cells in the 1800s?
Yeah, I mean, of course you get drawn to those kind of things.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with like reading adventure game books, the Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, and that watching. I don't know, you just get drawn to that side of things. But I think when you get, when I was starting writing, and I think around Glass Trunk, I remember going into the archives and actually doing a search for death and accidents, and I don't think I would work like that now, as I start to see that you can maybe not romanticize, but you can almost like something like pornographize the past or the gory and the horrible which has happened to people. When you start to think like, this really happened to people for a reason. Not everybody found themselves in a bad position for something led them there, and lots of things happened to them to take them, so maybe it's not so appropriate to mine like that, but to let things rise a bit more naturally. And also that, being in a cell would be a very interesting experience, but also washing some dishes in a happy home can be too, and carries just the same weight. It's time passing and your body failing as it's happening.
Still nice and cheerful then,
it's just, there's always at some level even now, like there is absolute chaos
Yeah.
raging in our bodies,
Mm.
and wars being won and lost
Yeah.
every second.
Fair enough, yeah. Why not write about that stuff? So in terms of your musical style, it's kind of a fusion of folk sensibilities in the storytelling, but often juxtaposed with quite heavy guitars and quite sort of full-on instrumentation, and then anthemic sort of choruses on occasion. What's typically on your stereo? What's the kind of things that you listen to that might spark some inspiration in the way that you write?
Well, I've got like a holy trinity of music, which is Sun Ra, Elian Radiq, and then I keep the third spot, like I rotate people in and out, so at the minute it's Arthur Russell, but it could be Kate Bush or lots of people.
Yeah.
You know. Sophie as well.
Right,
It's so
yes.
awful.
Mm-hmm,
This year,
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
But what happened to Sophie? Because honestly, like we just so amazing. And Hannah Diamond's big in our house. But I try, like I don't listen to so many songwriters. I read a lot, but I tend to avoid songwriters because I can get my steerers down if I hear. Like I'd love to listen to more Bob Dylan.
Right.
This is incredible,
Yeah.
obviously, but I sort of feel like everything that goes in has to come out in some way, and I sort of want to be careful, like not to be led by other songwriters, but maybe to be led by books and films and paintings. She's fast asleep at Woden's feet, whilst arms I seek from thronging fair folk as a whelp fast to the teat. She smote me then ever since been shadows to beasts of one old soul. If you rely on the kindness of strangers, it helps to have a hound for a handmaid, not only for the superior nose, oh, compassion. seen before. Such a very beautiful snow-colored collie. Working the fell, the most powerful eye, part of the grass, and fast as a lightning before the children were grown, they'd ride her like a pony through the nodding banners yesterday. She went in chase of the ship's ride at my wit's end. I finally located her under a winding bush. My poor old lady seized by a fit. When the raiders came in their flaming carriages, she was running to her family, while I listened on, cowering behind a pile of logs. There is no denying it. I sold my shoes so I could buy a chicken, a penance and a tree. On her final day, now she is gone. version ruined by some really shit guitar at the end.
In terms of performance, I mean, you know, I've watched you perform in many different guises and many different spaces, and you always stop me in my tracks. You stop audiences in their tracks. You remind me of someone like Leonard Cohen or Tom Waits. It's that mesmeric kind of quality to your live performance. But obviously, you've been performing with a band, with a full band, over the last few sort of albums. How do you? How's that process of working with other musicians, kind of in a live setting, as opposed to performing on your own? How is that for you?
Good, yeah. It still feels very new. So I was playing with Matt and Johnny from Pigs. And that was great because that's the first time I'd done it with my own songs. Now they left because they had too much going on with their band, so I played with Andrew Cheatham on drums and then John Pope joined us who's a local
tremendous jazz,
So really lovely people, and it was good to be able to do those shows, and it was the right music for particularly 2020. But I think like we had some the shows were like edging towards being like rock shows, and actually there was a part of me was relieved about them all being cancelled. Obviously it was a big blow, so I'm just trying to find the positive, but I was like, you know, the doing these rock shows with people like not quite moshing, but was great, but that's enough, I think. So
it's quite a departure from
it's not really me, I don't think.
Different sorts of records that you're making are different in style as well, you know. Some of them are very poppy and some of them are very large and some of them are very sort of deep and introspective. And as an artist with quite a heritage in the region, your music really sort of stays still, it strikes me. Is this the result of an eternally restless mind? Are you always thinking about the next thing and a different way to approach the music you want to make?
I think it's about what is the best way to get it across, and also like particularly the structure, but also how it sounds tells a story, and so it's, you know, again it's thinking about it more like a book or a film. I know there are some writers who are writing one genre, but I kind of like that, you know, I guess I mentioned Kazuo Ishiguro before. His books have these wildly different sounds, but they're all the same. And he said this in interviews as well. He's writing the same book over and over in a way. And I like this idea of not being pinned to a style. I never think in terms of styles anyway. So the main thing for me is to like finding the way to deliver the lyric and the melody, and how best to support those things, because I think that's where and you can affect, if music has power. I think that it's, for me, it's the magic. It's the combination of a melody and a word is amazingly can be amazingly powerful for good or bad. So it's the style of the album is always about finding a way to deliver that. We're hurrying home from Sheffield, having received a phone call from our tearful nephew, whom we had left in charge. It's happened again, the pub's flooded again. Humber burst its banks this morning, had to go. The whole box of Maltesers got sent rolling all over the floor. How little we are, clung to the river's edge. Come hell or high water, how little we are. We park up by the derelict primary school, tie bags for life around our ankles, and wade across the playing field through the council estate to the market square. The whole town's come out to stand dumbly about, staring at the filthy water. The guy from the vape shop, ferrying his chocolate labs, waves to us cheerily from a leaky kayak. I've lost everything apart from what counts, pointing to his dogs and then at his heart. How little we are, clung to the river's edge. Come hell or high water, how little we are. There's a crowd gathered round the fat-headed butcher, who's back on his soapbox again, bemoaning the lack of adequate flood defences, somehow putting it down to an insurge of benefit scrounging immigrants, while handing out packs of sausages, black pudding, ham and haggises. Avoiding making eye contact, we hurry past the baying throng. Our beer garden lies in disarray, tangled shellacks and drowned umbrellas. Crossing the threshold, we are overwhelmed to find our neighbours whom we've never actually spoke to, working frantically to save our pub, lifting the tables clear and sweeping away the liquid mud. How little we are, clung to the river's edge. Come hell or high water, how little we are.
That was a pretty special way to kick off Series 2 of NARC TV with a performance from Richard Dawson at Middlesbrough Town Hall.
Next up, we've got the euphoric alt electronic sound of Twist Helix in the cathedral-esque setting of Boiler Shop, Newcastle.
Nice. It really echoes. It's good.
And well, I think to describe our sound, we kind of like settled as synth pop, but we are aware that we've got a little bit more aggressive within time, so I'm not entirely sure how to describe it right now.
I think aggression in the synth pop genre is okay.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of
like industrial leanings, but I mean we're very pop. I don't know. Basically, we're a punk band playing Europop. That's there you go.
Yeah,
That's
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. And who are some of the artists that you'd say inspired it?
To be honest, it's like I think to form like the sound of Twist Helix, we kind of like go with what we can play with our own instruments rather than just like getting inspiration from just like a particular band.
Yeah.
I know each of us, like individually, we might like, for example, like Baz might just take like some bass sounds from.
I was gonna say you're really big on like M83 as an inspiration for the keys, whereas my tastes are a bit more sort of punk, and I base the bass on a bit more sort of Death from Above 1979 and a little bit of sort of Editors, sort of darker ends. That kind of helps me as a reference. And then James, like you, some classic rock influences and.
Rock.
Yeah, what your dad would listen to. I feel that you've got the raw deal there. Like, you just have dad rock.
I think if we listed them all though, you'd probably look at them and then you wouldn't go, oh yeah, this is going to sound like Eurovision.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And they throw away the instances we said, or are we simply vain, or is it fun all that we create? I open up my composite identity to explain instead that I'm holding internally. We network reality, constantly striving for authenticity, communication, mobility, the click of a button, swipe right, you see who I wanna be, who I wanna be, who I wanna be, who I wanna be. Hey! Let's do it! Inhibition and engage. Or are we simply vain? Obsessed with the art form we create. Mi vida está compuesta por las partes que conflictos van formando mi identidad. Camuflamos realidad, falsificando nuestra autenticidad. Si buscas modernidad, pulsa el botón, verás una versión de mí que te va a gustar, que te va a gustar, que te va a gustar, que te va a gustar. My earrings show Frida Kahlo, is that kitsch well? Noi palincesto, text is my soul digital and so available. Frida Kahlo! Frida Kahlo! Frida Kahlo! Frida Kahlo!
Well, I've not seen my family in a year and a half, so obviously
Where
it's
do
the
your family live?
longest.
There?
Alicante.
Okay, yeah.
So even though there's direct flights there, it's been a year and a half, and this is like the longest I've not seen my parents or my sister, and I do miss them a lot.
From the music business side of things,
Yeah.
I mean, our label's in Madrid, and I kind of feel like some of the best opportunities and chances and offers of work we've got have been from Europe. I love the Northeast, but a band can't grow if we just kick around here.
I think we're very blessed in that we have we have that connection to Spain and sort of by proxy to the continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gives us almost like two home grounds.
Yeah. What you were saying, Dave, or asking what problems is Brexit going to pose for us? the first thing is going to be work visas. I mean, Bear is a dual national now, but me and Baz will need to sort visas. I just feel like the culture behind Brexit is so shallow and, like periscopic in its vision of the world and its conceptualization of what our identity and what our culture is,
And it's potentially going to rob a new generation of artists of opportunities. Like I say, we now can't afford to be spontaneous. If something comes up and hypothetically somebody drops us an offer saying, 2 days notice, come play a festival in Spain, it's not feasible anymore unless James and I keep paying every year for permanent work visas.
And for that reason, do you think they might just overlook it and just think, well, they're probably not going to be able to do it?
That's it. I mean,
too much hassle.
we may not be in that position because if someone does research and see Bea is Spanish and you make the presumption she's a dual national, James and Basil know what they're doing. But let's pick any other band where they're right for a festival bill, but they potentially are now going to be held back because they can't get off the island.
Yeah, because it's a nightmare anyway. I mean, like just planning your tour, your trip out there and everything. Like there were already obstacles, and we've just introduced more for the sake of bending.
We could keep going on this topic for a long time.
I'm going to stop just making me sad, and I feel it's making you guys sad. These lovely vibrant coloured couches aren't doing anything to stop to help us. So we're going to look to the future. We're going to be positive. Look to the future. Tell us what you've got in the pipeline. Exciting stuff coming up. What are you up to?
Well, we have released a new album.
Is there any?
Machinery.
Oh, look at that. Perfect.
It's got 11 songs and it's just like brand new. And even though we released it like not so long ago, we haven't had the chance to actually tour it. So we can't really wait to play all those songs live. So you are probably one of the first ones. Well, probably not. Like,
you
are
are
the first ones.
Half of that set, nobody's heard live.
Apart from the whole world who watch NARC TV.
Well,
apart from you guys.
exclusive to NARC TV, you see.
Yeah.
We give you the good stuff early.
That's great.
That's the main focus for us has got to be getting out on the road and playing the new songs and I think just reconnecting with people. We're a very live band. Like I know, say a very live band. What does that mean? But like.
I understand exactly what you meant.
We spend so much time on the road in like gig venues, hotels, service stations, and I just miss it. There's that weird thing of like existing, like like standing outside a service station with a crap sandwich at midnight on the way to the next gig, and it's just
the other day we actually stopped at a petrol station, saw the freezer outside, and we were like, oh, Baz, we miss it. Because usually like we used to have like sandwiches just next to that freezer next to the petrol station. So you just like see stuff like that,
but that's the main thing, and then like, as we go, we'll start to. I suppose we'll see because there's a variety of styles on the new album, and what I'm really interested in is seeing how people react to it and what people take to more because we haven't really started thinking about writing another record yet, but maybe what people say might inform. A little bit more of what we do next.
I think we've got another one in us. We'll just see how it goes.
But we've got 3 albums out the way. We can do jazz now.
Totally.
Fourth album,
Like, it's harsh noise, like that's
harsh noise is going to be the
Industrial jazz.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Industrial death jazz.
There we go. It's another exclusive for that.
Here's a song for the North Sea, for all the things that divide you from me. Good night, little England. I promise you, I won't weep